Hey guys, welcome back. I can't believe it's the end of 2018. I'm kind of excited about that though. 2018 kind of did one of these towards the end, and I'm prepared to carry that momentum over. That aside, it is the time of year for me to sit down and really look at the items that I purchased during the year and figure out what were my favorites. I am like 98% certain that everything I have culled together here was in fact purchased in 2018. There are like 2 items, maybe 3 items that I'm a little iffy on. They might have been towards the end of 2017, but for the purposes of this video, let's just agree to pretend that everything is in fact 2018, okay? And on the basis of that agreement, let's do this. All right, so I'm going to go through these in terms of how I typically apply products to my face. So let's start off with primer. This should come as absolutely no shock whatsoever. It is the Becca Velvet Blurring Primer. I've talked about this in I don't know how many videos now. I just really enjoy this. I do find that it does help to blur things out. It's a primer that very often, especially on work days, I will just wear on its own and not even bother putting foundation on top of it. It just, like I said, it blurs things out. It's not to the degree that, say like a dimethicone or silicone-based primer will do, but it's just enough to just sort of mask basic imperfections. It does have a little bit of a tint to it, so it does help to even my skin tone out just minimally, but it's enough for me and I really enjoy it. For foundations, I couldn't narrow it down. I have 3. So the drugstore option that I absolutely love is the Rimmel Lasting Finish Breathable Foundation. It has a really weird applicator. That's the only thing I don't really like about it, is just this gigantic doe foot. But at the end of the day, it's only me using it, so I'm not overly concerned about the hygiene aspect of it. But I just really like the finish on it. I really like how lightweight it is, and it's just a great drugstore option. 2 higher end products. Again, one I have talked about quite frequently. This is the Dior Backstage Foundation. Mine is in the shade 2W. I do have a little sample size of 2N, which I mix together. Eventually, I will probably buy a bottle of 2N because my skin in the summer it is darker and more tanned, so this is perfect. In the winter, I lose a lot of that color, so lean more towards the 2N, but it is workable. At any rate, I just really like the finish. It's sort of a liquid to powder kind of finish, and it's just a beautiful product. I like the application here, like I like that it's in a little squeeze bottle. It is quite liquidy, but it doesn't cake up or bunch up during the course of the day, and it's a winner. The last foundation that I have to talk about, I don't know that I can really say that it's a favorite yet because I've only had it for a few weeks, but I've been so impressed by it, and it's what I'm wearing today. It's the Shu Uemura Light Bulb Foundation. I have the shade 774 Light Beige, and I love it. I love this foundation. It is pretty much exactly what I'm looking for in a foundation. So it comes with a pump, it's a glass bottle, it's quite sleek packaging, nothing fussy about it. It looks and feels like second skin. Like it doesn't have a matte finish, but it's also not dewy despite the fact that it's called the light bulb. It's just very realistic and natural, like a soft radiant, I guess. It's just, once you apply it, you don't see the makeup. That's perfect for a foundation. That's exactly what I want a foundation to do. I want it to even things out, mask the imperfections, but not look makeup-y, and this achieves it. It would be, I'd say, like a medium, buildable to medium full coverage. It's not thick at all. It blends really nicely, it wears really nicely, and I'm just so impressed by it. So while I haven't had it for very long, and it is difficult for that reason to put it into a yearly favorites, I really anticipate that this is going to become the foundation that I reach for over and over. It's just beautiful. Moving on to concealer, I only have one to talk about. It shouldn't be a surprise because I talk about it every time I do my makeup on camera. The Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer. This has taken the place of Shape Tape for me. I don't really know why. I can't really explain why. It just has the perfect amount of coverage for me. It doesn't crease up, it doesn't cake up, it doesn't get dry. It's just the perfect concealer for my needs, at any rate. It comes with a nice doe foot here. Again, it really doesn't have a scent to it. It blends out nicely. I can use it with a full face of makeup or just on its own, and it's not so thick and high coverage that it looks weird without foundation surrounding, but it is still high coverage. I don't know how to make that make sense, but it just has a really natural finish to it, and I think that's what helps it stand alone on my face on days when I'm not wearing foundation as well. I really like this product. For setting those products into place, it's the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. I was sort of apathetic about it, I suppose. It is a powder that people have raved about forever on YouTube, and I was kind of like, it was a powder is a powder, whatever. And then I got like a deluxe sample of it and was like, oh, okay, I see. I got it. It really does blur things out, and starting to get like a little fine line action under here. We're gonna just skip on past that because I'm actively really trying to ignore it, but it's there nonetheless. And when I use this, it's less there, and I like that. So I have become a very big and very devoted fan of this powder. It's the only one I'm going to talk about. There are others that I use. I'm using other samples that I have right now, but this is the one that I really like. I have tried the one in the glowy version. Nope. This is the one that I like. I don't like the way the glowy one looks under my eyes. There's a cast to it that just did not work out. Translucent, original OG for the win. For actual face powders, I do have a few options here. So this is one that I may have bought towards the end of 2017. I think it was 2018, but it might have been the tail end of last year. It's the Cali Contour Kit from Smashbox, and in particular, I really like the contour shade in here. I like everything else with the exception of this shade. I don't get much use out of that one at all, but everything else is excellent, but this is the one that I reach for. It's just the perfect contour for my skin tone. Again, I am wearing it today. It is just very realistic looking. I don't really like a strong contour, and this keeps it very natural for me. Another face palette, the MAC Shiny Pretty Things face palette in the light version. There it is. Again, I did a whole dedicated review to all of the products that I purchased from this collection, and this was mentioned in there. I love it. I love it. I love the bronzer. I love the whole thing. It is what I call like a 9 to 5 kind of product, meaning it's excellent for everyday wear. It is subtle but buildable, and it's just a beautiful product. The fancy free Chanel thing. So if you watched my, I don't know, Shoppers Drug Mart haul or whatever it was, I can't remember what I entitled it, but you'll know that I received this, well, I purchased it using Shoppers Drug Mart points, so I got it for free. I was a little skeptical at first. I mean, I really did want it because I've heard so much hype about it, but I was a little skeptical because it is a cream product. I wasn't quite sure how to use it, didn't know if I was really going to like it. Cream highlighters, things like that, it's not really my jam, it's not really my go-to. Freaking love this. Okay, first of all, I love the scent of it. Like it's light, but it is definitely perfumey. It smells like high-end skin cream to me. I don't know how to describe it, but it smells delightful. So even just from an experience of using this, I really enjoy that. Then I also just really like the product. A little goes a long way. I pick it up with a brush, and I have it on like the forehead area, I have it up on the cheekbones, and just a little bit on my nose and chin. It is very buildable, but it also blends beautifully. So I think if you were, you know, like medium skin tone, so darker than me, I don't think you would like this, but if you are fair or light skinned as I am, I would recommend this. It is pricey for being a bronzer, but if you're in Canada and you have Shoppers Drug Mart points, hop on their beauty boutique online and treat yourself. All right, 2 more face products. One is a blush. Again, this is new to me, and also the highlight is new to me as well, but they're both from MAC. The blush is in the shade Melba. That has been around for ages, but I am just hopping on the bandwagon of basically of MAC products aside from their lipsticks. I haven't really experimented with much else from them, but having fallen in love as much as I did with the face palette, I wanted to try some of their other products. I love this blush. It's what I'm wearing. It's peachy without being too corally. Coral and I don't always get along, so the Pantone color of this year is not really going to work out for me. But this one is nice and subtle, and I just think it's a beautiful, beautiful shade, and I'm so happy I picked it up, finally. The highlight here is the mineralized skin finish in Soft and Gentle. Again, it's a product that people have talked about for absolutely ever, that I just was very late to the game on, but now I understand the hype. It's the highlighter that I'm wearing today. It's just got like a soft, I don't even want to call it peach, I guess. Yeah, like a very soft peachy undertone to it. And that just sort of matches my skin and helps to accentuate it without being like a strip of color on my face, and I just really like it. I'm so happy that I bought those, in particular those 2 MAC products. All right, eyes and lips. I really tried to narrow down the palette selection. I really did. This is the best that I can get it down to, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry. One is from ColourPop. This is the Good Sport palette. Okay, first of all, I love ColourPop shadows. I just wish that they would stop releasing them every 42 minutes. But I just love the color scheme in here. I was not overly interested when I saw the ColourPop product shots of this, but there's somebody who I follow on Instagram whose name I can't remember who it was. I spent so much time searching for that picture and searching through like the people that I follow, and all, like I put in the legwork and I just couldn't figure out who it was. So I'm so sorry. If you are a subscriber and you see this, please let me know that it was you so that I can give credit where credit's due. But that person posted pictures when she purchased this palette, and I instantly ordered because her pictures showed the true colors. I think she even had swatches in there, but at any rate, it was the picture of the palette itself. It sold it to me, and I did comment on the post telling her that, but I'm a terrible human being and I can't remember who it was, and I'm so sorry. All right, Jeffree Star, Thirsty palette. I did a whole review on this. I may or may not throw cards up. I tend to forget, so sorry. But there is the palette there. I just loved how fun and different it was. I love that there's the bright pops of color. There are sort of neutral tones in here, and then the strip of metallic shadows across the middle. I just really enjoyed playing around with this. I really liked all the looks that I created with it. The shadows are beautiful to work with, and I really like this packaging that he did. The alien head thing, I love the shadows that are in there. I hate the fucking packaging, but this one, Jeffree Star, please do more like this. Just functional packaging, easy to store, all that good stuff. I really enjoyed that palette. Since we're talking about him, we may as well talk about the other palette of his that I fell in love with this year, and that is the Blood Sugar. This packaging is incredibly bulky, but still better than the alien head. These colors, right up my alley. I am wearing some of these shades on my eyes today, more for blending things out than over the actual lids, but these are just Beautiful. They're just so beautiful. Again, I did do a review on this. I also did a drunken get ready with me back in the spring if you want to go look at that. I'm a delight when I've had too much vodka, I'll say that. But I used this palette in that video. I just love it. I love the color story. I love the quality of the shadows. I think it's just a fantastic palette. I may as well talk about what else is on my eyes, and that is the Cranberry palette from Natasha Denona. Again, these shades just kind of speak to my soul, and in particular this pink shade here, which is what I have on the inner portion of my eyelids today. I didn't think that I would like it as much as I do, but it is perfection. It is so beautiful. It is what I consider to be a very girly pink, but it's got a nice amount of shimmer in there. It's almost like a wet type sheen to it, and it is just stunning. I held off on purchasing this palette. I didn't think that I would, and then I swatched it in stores and was like, how could I not? And it is divine. Do I stick with Natasha Denona or do I stick with the purple theme? Let's stick with Natasha Denona. Gold palette. This is a favorite of mine this year, more so because of what it represents to me, in that I was able to purchase it because it is a very hefty price tag. I do like how functional it is. Like, it is very neutral, it is very safe, but I do get a ton of use out of it because of that. On my day-to-day going to work days, particularly if I'm going to court, I'm typically not going to wear an eye look like this. I'd wear this to the office, no problem, but if I'm going to court, I do keep it very neutral, and this has become my go-to. But this palette is just going to forever keep a very special place in my heart. I know it's weird to emotionally tie into an expensive product, but it just really meant a lot to me to actually purchase it for myself, and I keep it on, if you saw my collection, I keep it on a little holder that sits to the left of me so I can always see it, and I'm really grateful to have it. It's not so much the fact that it is fancy, it's just that I'm really grateful to have it, so there's that. Going back to the purple theme, Ace Beauty Paradise Fallen. There are the shades in that palette. These Ace Beauty palettes, I have two of them. This one outranked the other because I like the color story a bit better. They are just so nice to work with. Like, they really, really impressed me, really blew me away. I have struggled so hard over their new Flare palette. I want it so badly. I've added it to my cart and taken it out. Wow. I've added it and removed it from my cart probably, like, no joke, like 20 times. And I just can't bite the bullet because the shipping is just, yeah, it's so expensive. But it's beautiful, and the formula is, like, it knocks my socks off. It is so good. The last palette that I have in my favorites here surprised the hell out of me, and it's the Sultry palette. When I saw pictures of this, I was a hard pass on that, and then I saw it in stores. And that seems to be a recurring theme. A lot of people who have reviewed this palette or talked about it have said the same thing. They weren't interested until they saw it in stores. It's so pretty. I did not expect to like this nearly as much as I do. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, and I do have other ABH palettes. I have Modern Renaissance. I've never loved it as much as everybody else seemed to. I have Subculture. I never hated it as much as other people seem to. But I do find that the ABH formula is more powdery than most shadows. This one, not so much. I find this one to be the easiest to work with of the ones that I have, and I just love it. The metallic shadows in here are, like, next level. They are incredible, and can we talk about the packaging as well? Like, it's beautiful. So I am very happily surprised by this. I feel like I really would have missed out on something if I hadn't bought it. Like, it's weird because a lot of times when I don't buy a palette, I'm like, eh, whatever, and I don't really care that much, but I'm so glad I got this one. I really do love it. Okay, more eyes. Liners. Fenty Fly Liner. And again, this is one that I think there's a chance it might have been the end of 2017. I really cannot gauge at all when I purchased it. It's the Stila's Stay All Day with the micro tip, the liquid liner. It does have like just this itty wee little baby tip, which is great for perfecting other lines that you've made. I really like them in tandem. I also really like the Stay All Day regular one, but I don't have a full-sized, and the mini one that I have zero concept as to when I received it. No clue. So these two together, dream team. Three of the same things here. These are the 24/7 pencils from Urban Decay. Again, I'm very late to the game on this. They're so good. They're so good. This is the one that I'm wearing in my waterline today. This is the shade Alkaline. It's like a nice plum color, but they're so creamy. They don't tug at all. You don't have to go back and forth a bunch of times and really irritate your eyes with them. And for me, they do have really good lasting power in my waterline. And I'm happy that I finally discovered them. I'm very happy about that. Mascaras. Kush Mascara, again, may have been a 2017 thing, but I don't think it was. I think it was this year. Pretty sure it was this year. Milk Makeup. And then most recently is the Unlimited Mascara from L'Oreal. Again, I've talked about this. I hate the packaging. I think it's ridiculous. It looks cheap. It's super bulky. But I love the product. I really do. So the two of them are just fantastic. For what it's worth, I'll show the brush in case that makes a difference for people. The Milk one, it just adds a lot of volume, doesn't clump anything up. I have heard other people talk about how it flakes off on them. I've never experienced that, so I guess if you're interested in it, if you can get a sample size of it, so much the better. And then the L'Oreal one, it's one of those like it bends and they say that that does something. I'm no physicist, I have no idea. But I will say, like it's got the rubber bristles, but it does add a lot of length, a lot of volume. Again, it doesn't clump things up, it doesn't rain down. It's just fantastic drugstore option, like fantastic drugstore. I would buy this over Lash Paradise, and that's saying a lot. For lashes, I'm not wearing any today because I drank a little too much vodka last night and then took a shower, and so they are living in my shower right now. Shh, don't tell anyone. Velour, effortless, any style, doesn't matter. Effortless, so good. They really are appropriately named because they are so easy to use, like so easy to use. If you are afraid of false lashes, if you are new to the false lash game, forget magnetic lashes, that is bullshit. Effortless, get on it. They are pricey, they're about $34 a pair, but you can reuse them so many times. Just take good care of them and away you go. They are worth the price tag. Okay, Aspen's just home from camp. I can hear her, so we've only got like a minute before she realizes I'm down here and she hot trots it down here, so let's wrap this up. Lips. I have got 6 things in front of me. Again, these may have been 2017, but I'm pretty sure they came out this year. These are the Luxe lipsticks from ColourPop, of which I have a ton. But I didn't want to bring all of them out because we don't need to see all of them. This is one of my favorite shades in it though, and this is the shade Foolish. It is like a really deep burnt orange, and I love it. I love orange lipstick, but this one, it's just got the nice depth to it to make it really wearable. I guess I'll pull one out. One more. Liquid Courage. It is a deep red right here, but again, very wearable and just oh so pretty. I really like these. Do I even need to mention it? Like, I've talked about it so much. The Fenty Gloss Bomb, this is the original one that they had, the Fenty Glow. Hello, Aspen Lily. You can see, I've pointed this out before, you can see how much I've used, and I've only had it since the spring. That is saying a lot because I have an extensive lip product collection, and this is the one I keep going back to over and over again. for the sake of completing the swatches, I will add it right there. Give me like 1 minute, okay, baby? Maybe 2. Give me 2 minutes. I want to hear all about your day at camp, okay? Another fairly recent purchase for me is the Shiseido, what were these called? Modern Matte Powder Lipsticks. This one is in the shade Disrobed, number 506. I like the bullet on it because it is very precise, but I also just like the feel of it. I am really getting into bullet lipsticks again as opposed to liquid lipsticks, and it is, you can see, just a pure matte, but it is incredibly comfortable to wear, and I actually just really love this shade as well. So I really like these. Another bullet lipstick that I adore, and I hate that I adore because they're so pricey, but I do. It's what I'm wearing today. It is the Charlotte Tilbury, are they Matte Revolution? I don't know. It's the matte one in the shade Bond Girl. Even though I have it on, I will add it to the swatches. There it is here. So very similar to the Shiseido, just a little bit more pink, whereas this one has a little bit more of like a peachy undertone. But again, very creamy and very comfortable, although it is matte. For a glossier option though, there is the Lancome, I cannot remember what those were called, L'Absolu Lacquer. This is in the shade 378, and these, they were talked about for quite a bit for like a hot second, and then nobody talked about them anymore. And they really just are a nice glossy product. It did have really good lasting power for being a gloss, and it is really buildable as well, and that was sort of their whole shtick when they first came out. It's like there's one layer, and you can add 2 and then a third. They don't get sticky, they don't produce those like strings of disgustingness. They're just a really nice product to wear, and I really like the shade of that one, the nice pink. This is the last one. This is Uncuffed from Fenty. And I didn't know if I should really include it in here because I bought the original Fenty, whatever these things were called, Stunna lip paints in 2017, but this shade just came out this year, so we're going to include it. I love this. I love it. I think they've reformulated. They are very much a transfer-proof product now. It's just, this is, if I had to pick, oh God, if I had to pick one, would it be this one? I think it might be there on the end. Again, you can see sort of what my like favorite neutral kind of shades are. It's like a really light rosewood, I guess, but it just goes with so much, and it's just, this one's deeper than the others, but along the same kind of lines. Would this be my favorite? I don't know. I'm not even going to try. It's really impossible. Hi, bra strap. It's really impossible for me to pick a favorite because it really depends on where I'm going, what I'm going to be doing, what the rest of my makeup looks like, all of that kind of thing, which is why we have so many options. But those are my favorite formulas of the products that I have purchased in 2018. And that wraps it up. Those are my favorite products that I purchased in 2018. So guys, let me know, what were your favorite products from this year? Or if you want to tell me what you hated, let me know that too, so that I don't make the mistake of buying it in 2019. But sound off down below. What did you love this year? I'd love to hear from you. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.